problem is that let me get my head together. That once he agreed to the deal, he didn't break the agreement according to the judge. He kept the agreement. And then when he was about to present his case, the district attorney was not going to keep the agreement. So what y'all saying is true, but the fact is the district attorney didn't have any integrity. He was gonna talk about everything else but the whatchamacallit anyway, knowing that that he already rested his case. So it's not like the defense attorney could relitigate those witnesses or relitigate whoever to disparage Austin Metcalf's character. That's what the issue is. That's what the problem is.
And I understand that.
Can I ask you a question, Sal?
Go ahead.
Let's say the agreement is held true, and
the agreement that was proposed in this trial?
Right, the whole April 2nd, whatever the date was, right?
Okay.
It's my contention that Karmelo still would have been convicted if he had testified. I don't think he would have done well on the stand to help himself. That's my thoughts. Okay. The whole knife, he would have had to account for putting the knife in the bag, bringing it to school.
What's the question?
So my question is, even with the agreement in place, Karmelo had to testify, is my opinion. I don't think how do you think he would have performed well on the stand?
Well,
to help himself.
Well, at least he was prepared, right? Go ahead.
Well, in my professional opinion, here's the thing, right? If Karmelo ends up on the stand, the best thing for him to do is to become a child again. I need for him to cry. And I'm not saying but if I'm a juror, if I'm one of the 12, if I want to have any type of reason to doubt about this kid, he needs to look like a kid again. I need the prosecution to bully him. Really, I'm being honest. But whatever it is that he says, I'm already going to have within my mind everything that those 12 witnesses said and everything that the evidence has been brought forth to me. So now I need for him to convince me that, hey, bro, if I was in your shoes, I feel you, bro. I need you to become a human again and not a alleged.
Do you think that was possible with his actions that day?
Yes.
Going to the tent. I'm asking Sarah, going to the tent, unfolding the knife, pulling it out of the bag, stabbing the guy, refusing to leave after 15 times. I don't think he could have gotten through that testimony without harming himself.
You answered the question that I was about to ask. Am I taking into consideration everything I've heard and seen? If the answer is yes, then it's going to be very hard for me to believe that. But is there a way that you can possibly convince me that you didn't have no other choice? Yeah, it's a possible way.
It'd been a hell of an acting job.
It'd have been, bro. If it was me, I would have been on that witness stand. I'd have been crying, snot bubbles, begging. I'd have been looking at the family. I'm so sorry. I didn't have no other choice. It would have been a point of order. I would have got held in contempt. I would have did everything. I'm fighting for my life. I'm doing whatever it is that I possibly can.
Give me a second, Wall Street. Hold on, Uda. I apologize real quick, Uda, because you got next, and then Wall Street. But give me 1 second. Let Sel finish. Let me say something brief, and then I'll pass it to you, Uda, and then Wall Street, and then we'll open it up. All right, go ahead.
So what I'm saying is that it's a lot of things that I would have done, or if I was a jury member, I would have probably taken into consideration had he performed on that witness stand. You know what the problem was? His defense his defensive attorney, Michael Howard, never had any intention to defend him. He only wanted to protect him from what the prosecution had a legal right to do, which is question him. That's a problem.
Well, let me say this real fast. This is another thing, Sel, that again, with the way, and you're right about that he never intended to defend him, and I think that was predicated on the agreement that they had, him being dumb as hell and trusting that shit. But being that they revamped the time, that means that he didn't have his proper experts in place. He didn't have so it being that hold on real quick, being that the prosecution switched up on him, that's why he asked the judge for more time, because then he could have had his proper witnesses, which he already told the judge, if you do this Saturday, I got witnesses already lined up, but they can't come on Saturday. We need a different time. The judge denied that. He wouldn't let him do it. So that automatically in and of itself stopped them from getting a proper defense. Beside that,
But let me
had
let me raise this. But Izzy, if you're the defense attorney and I'm the appellate judge, I'm going to look at this and say, but you had 8 months.
But they agreed way before time that this was how the trial was that they was not gonna introduce all of this stuff. They agreed way before the trial that they wasn't gonna introduce.
Right, but do you ever lean on plan A only, or do you have plan B?
Well, I mean, I would, but again, he told the judge from the beginning, hey, judge, I have a bunch of witnesses, but but these witnesses cannot be here on Saturday. I need time. Go ahead, Uda, because you got much more working knowledge. You got the floor of this. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is this, right? So even during this document that we're reading from Michael Howard, right? Even if he was to testify, right, that he couldn't go into why he had the knife or him being scared, because all of these things would have breached the agreement and opened the door as well, right? So then not only that, but Mike Howard says to them that this agreement that we made from the whole beginning, I never intended for you to call your own defendant as a witness, which you understood.
Part of the agreement, right?
That he would, which he was raising that he would in front of the judge and him, and Michael and Mr. Worski, the prosecutor, understand that in a self-defense trial, you got to have the defendant come speak up for his own self if you have any real chance of defending yourself against the charge. You know what I'm saying?
Uda, let me ask you a question. Based on what you just told me, because I haven't read the document yet. You read the document, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
So the defense tried to set a stage for a fair or clean trial. Would you agree or disagree?
No, the prosecution did
that. The prosecutor
did that.
Bill Worski is the one who doctored this whole thing, tailored the whole agreement, and made the whole agreement. The defense actually abided by the agreement and came into the agreement. That's all they did. But
so then
wait, one that did this whole agreement, bro.
So wait, then there's the problem. The problem is, if you read this agreement and you read everything that was in this agreement, you can clearly see that what was in this agreement was we only talking about acre second. Is that a fair assumption? We not talking about nothing else except
under the tent. And the prosecution only wanted to talk about April 2nd and what happened under the tent.
Okay, cool. So now I'm going by what you're telling me. So the prosecution only wanted to talk about April 2nd, nothing else. We ain't talking about absolutely nothing else.
That means no bullying.
No bullying. We can't talk about Hunter.
Right. That's why they did.
Okay, cool. So problem. So
that's why they didn't.
But wait, hold on. This is my point. So the prosecution tried to set a clean slate trial, and the defense did what?
Nothing.
No, they didn't.
They brought up chess.
The chess is not a violation.
Hold on, wait, stop. No, wait.
It's not.
Wait, hold on, wait. Easy. Honestly, just give me 1 second. I'm trying to get you to think outside of morally. I'm trying to get you to think on a legal level.
And a legal level, it's not.
Listen to me, Izzy.
The judge says not.
Listen.
I'm listening. Go ahead. My bad.
You can't do it.
I'm listening. Hush up, John. Go ahead. Yeah.
If I say we can only talk about the basketball game, don't you ever bring up me throwing the football. But if you bring up me throwing the football, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring up your chess game. This is the point of what I'm saying. On the legal level, the agreement was we ain't talking about absolutely nothing except April 2nd. But the defense said, well, he's a good chess player. What the hell that got to do with that? That ain't got nothing to do with April 2nd. He wasn't playing chess on April 2nd. He wasn't working. So now, since you brought up the fact I threw a football under the 30-yard line, guess what I'm about to do? Well, Izzy, you can't dunk. What you mean I can't dunk? I'm 6 foot. That don't mean nothing. I seen how you fell down the stairs the other day. I know your knee messed up. Why you bringing that up? Because you brought up the football. See, when it comes to a legal standard, if we have an agreement that we're only going to talk about square number 1, you can't mention nothing about square number 2, because if you do, you open the door. This is what happened. And I seen what people saying.
Hold on, no, you can't. Hold on, no, you can't.
Whenever you come around,
you gotta wait. Yeah, you
gotta wait. I can land right there.
So this is the thing, Sal. And then I'll pass it back to you, Uda, and then Wall Street is next. And then after that, John could go. Listen, so real quick, Sal, and now I got to pass it to Uda. So I'm gonna have the final word on this one.
It could be yes or no.
At the end of the day, right? The judge who is the legal, the top legal interpreter, said no. This is not. This is no. This is not a violation of y'all agreement. This is in the realms of what could be talked about, and it's not a character play to say that he plays chess. It's not. It now what because what you're failing to realize is still the defense has to allow Karmelo to look human. He has to allow him to look like a human being without painting a character, but he has to let him look like a human being. So that was the attempt at that. So that I just wanted to say that. Go ahead, Uda.
I get that, but if you bring up that he works 2 jobs and he's a chess player, that's a character statement.
No, not that he's a chess player is not a character statement, especially according to the judge. The judge said so. So go ahead. The judge said so. So there's nothing you can argue about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, Bill Worski was fronting because he kind of made it seem like he was like in a chess club, but he never said that. And this was in opening statements, right? He only said that as a hobby, he likes to play chess. That's what he says, right? So at the end of the day, even he brought him before the judge, and the judge told him, no, that would not be breaching the agreement. So that was a lie. But Bill Worski was being slick, okay? He got his hand caught in the cookie jar trying it, right? But listen, if he really felt that way, that he was breaching this agreement, why didn't he bring it up in opening statements before he had a chance to go up and do his case? Because if he went up and did his case, then all of the things about the Metcalf twins and all of the allegations that people were saying about them being bullies and having aggressive natures and all of these things would have been able to been coming out. And the defense had a way that they actually had on the line that they was going to call some of their witnesses as hostile witnesses if they had to as well. You see what I'm saying? So that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. Yeah, Willie, what you want to say?
That was a good alley-oop to what I was gonna say, because basically he just lined him. Like he waited for the entire trial, let respect this gentleman's agreement, and then when it was time for Karmelo to go on the stand, he flipped it and said, "No, I'm gonna badger him. I'm gonna do all the things that we said we weren't gonna do in this agreement." So this is where the money comes into the type of lawyer you have, because it was simply just a well-played scumbag move. But it was a scumbag move nonetheless, right? And the gentleman's agreement, to be clear, again, was never broken. The judge declared that, just saying that he plays chess doesn't break this agreement. So the simple facts are the prosecution played him, and they used a slimy tactic to do it, but now at least some of the dots are connected. Now we kind of can understand how we get to this point where all the questions were, why didn't they put him on the stand? Well, for the whole trial, they prepared him as a witness that wasn't going to be attacked, badgered, dragged.
But
you know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
And so at that point, that's when the prosecution flipped it. So it was a scumbag move.
Here's the problem.
I want to direct a question to you, Sel. What Sel just described was the prosecution knew they had such a strong case. They said, we don't need anything but what happened that day.
We don't need nothing except what happened that day. That's all I want.
Now, what you guys keep talking about,
hold on, Uda, let him rock.
What you guys keep talking about are things that didn't happen that day. Or he was bullied. Well, he wasn't bullied that day, right? He wasn't, he may not even know those guys, but he definitely wasn't bullied that day. The prosecution said, look, if we can just go off of what happened that day up on that tent, we feel like we can convict this guy.
Yes.
That's as clean as that.
But hold on, Willie. Number one, duh, right? So because again, if you're able, that's what the prosecution, like my man Uda said it best. The prosecution wants to talk about that day forward. The defense needs to establish that day backwards, because it has to show, the defense has to show pattern, it has to show intentional lack thereof, and it has to show habits and character and whatever to be able to defend their client. So they want hold on, let me finish.
John, no, he's actually explaining this correctly. Let him explain it.
The defense has to go backwards in order to defend their client. The prosecution, of course, is going to want to keep it to that day and actually what happened, because that takes the humanity and the reasonality and the logic behind what happened away, right?
Can I respond?
Hold on, no, let me just land it. After
I thought you were done. Sorry.
Yes, after I landed, yes, you can respond. So now, this is the thing. So that's number one. But the second thing is purely this. That's not, they didn't have, yeah, of course, if you could take the fact that Austin Metcalf was a big, burly, man-sized bully, and that he had an intimidating and daggone a monster-like lore over people, of course, it's gonna be easier to prove that it wasn't self-defense. But if you could show that he was a big, burly, bully type dude that was scary, and even his own so-called friends and people that went to school with him was afraid of him, then of course it'd be easier to prove that shit. Maybe this little kid was afraid of him too.
Well,
you know what's interesting that you say that though isn't? Because what you're doing is you're creating an environment where someone could be a criminal in his past, and he could exercise his self-defense today. And you said, well, I'm going to bring up everything he did in the past to negate what he did on this particular day. That's
welcome
not fair.
Welcome to America.
How is that fair, though, bro?
Hold on. If I'm
on trial for murder today.
No, don't stop saying the M word.
Oh, I'm sorry. Damn it.
Come on, man.
If I'm on trial for
say red rum.
It doesn't matter. Just say any crime. And then you can't bring up the crime that I did, and maybe I was convicted or not convicted for it 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
Really?
I would want to be judged basically on what I'm being accused of today.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me finish. In the sentencing phase, that's when they can bring up what you did, your prior convictions and stuff like that. But if you were being accused of a crime today, you don't want your past to sway the jury. I don't think you would.
But no, you do. Okay, so what you want and what they do are two totally different things. Everybody knows. I didn't never have to be on trial to understand and to know, like be on a trial. I've been in court before, and I've been in situations, and I know for a fact they bring up your character, they bring up your past behavior, they bring up character witnesses, they bring up witnesses that could show and prove that you have a particular set of behavioral patterns. They do that. Welcome to America. That is exactly what happens all day, every day, for the defense and for the offense.
But in Karmelo's case, they had agreed to not do that. But they had agreed to not do that, right?
But now you're talking in circles. This
they
is the problem.
They agreed to not do it, right?
But the problem is you're talking in circles now, because now you're moving the goalposts. When I just said that, if that agreement was off, then the defense would have been able to do its job, and part of its doing its job would be able to prove the violent nature, the big stature, and the intimidation factor of Austin Metcalf, which could have spoke to the reason why Karmelo and why it was what they call it, equal force or relevant force, reasonable force, proportional force, and Karmelo Anthony's defense. Go ahead.
Gotcha. Why do you think Karmelo's attorney agreed to this?
John, go. It's Snell's turn, bro.
No. He was asking me a question. I can take it. I can answer.
Karmelo's attorney would agree to this gentleman's agreement to, hey, don't go into my background. I won't go into theirs. Why do you think he would agree to that?
Because that's irrelevant on the victim.
No,
that's irrelevant.
It's very important.
Okay, what's the relevance?
So the relevance is that if you don't want me to go into Karmelo's past, right? That's what you're trying to protect me from. You're trying to protect him from me, the prosecution, asking him about his past. Ergo, do you have a history of carrying knives to school? Have you ever been suspended from school from carrying knives? Have you ever carried a knife to school? What made you bring a knife here to distract me? Why did you bring a knife to distract me? Did you sign or do you understand the rules when it comes to the codes and the policies of when participating and to track me on school grounds? All of these are relevant questions that could have been asked of Karmelo. But guess what? Per the agreement, you don't want me to go backwards. You only want me to talk about this day on the second. So fine, I'll talk about that day. But here's the problem: you keep bringing up Hunter and Austin as if they are the ones that's on trial. They're not. If something happens between you and Uda, I'm not going to be like, well, let me look into Uda's past to see if he that type of dude to really cause a person to now have to defend their life. Because if that's the case, then Uda should have been gone a long time ago.
What? No. That's
So
hold on, real quick. I got
let's
you,
be
Willie. I'm gonna
real
pass
quick.
it to you. I got you. Hold on, Willie. I apologize. Give me one quick second. Listen. Welcome to America, number one. Number two, shout out to Stan Autry. Number two, we're talking about the law and being able to prove innocence. So, absolutely, if you're trying to prove self-defense, it's not necessarily like they're going to be on trial per se. However, it is going to be like they are excuse me, it's not like they're going to be on trial per se, but it absolutely is going to be like they are being questioned on how they move, how they operate, and the relevance of you feeling like you had to defend yourself against them. So we know for a fact when Trayvon Martin, when George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin was deceased. George Zimmerman was on trial. That Trayvon Martin, all we heard about was Trayvon Martin's character, what Trayvon Martin did in the past, how Trayvon Martin moved. That's all we heard about. When George Floyd, God rest his soul, died, all we heard about was what George Floyd was taking, how George Floyd moved. So it's not even accurate or even true that you wouldn't dig into the past of the alleged victim or the alleged person in order to prove the actions of whoever did what they did to them. That's absolutely not
But
the case at all.
you can't argue. You can't argue.
Hold on, Stan. I gotta give it to Wall Street. I done put them off and put them on. Go ahead, Wall
So
Street.
yeah, I have a different take on it, right? The first thing I'm looking at, if they sign this gentleman's agreement, what is the benefit to each gentleman, right? I think the defense didn't want their witness to be handled as a hostile witness to be attacked, right? And on the other side, right, the prosecutor who isn't offering anything. They're not even offering MS, right? I know I can't say the M word. They're not offering a lesser charge, right? So when I'm looking at their reason for wanting this, they want to keep this victim's past hidden for a reason. Now you let the defense go through the whole trial honoring this and then go to something in the opening that you never challenged as the reason now to break this, gentleman's agreement, which the judge could never enforce in the first place. It was just a good slimy move by the prosecution.
That's
That
go
was
ahead,
it.
Sal. Go ahead, Sal, and then
I give
John
him
Galt,
that.
and then I gotta
I
let
give
Raw
him
get
that.
in.
It was a slime move. It was a
It was slime ball.
Well, this is America, and that's what attorneys do, right? Attorneys are naturally slime balls. But here's the problem, though.
Damn.
I'm going to offer not to bring up. I'm defending John Galt, and you are defending Uda. I'm going to offer. We only talk about John Galt on what he did last week, but I also want to talk about what Uda did last year. Your position is, well, I don't think it's fair to talk about what Uda did last year because Uda's not on trial. So I only want to talk about what John Galt did moving forward. Okay, fine. So here's my caveat. I won't bring up what John Galt did 2 weeks ago. I'll only stick to what John Galt did last week. But if you make any character mention about Uda and you put John Galt on the stand, when Uda goes on the stand, I'm laying into everything. If you go any second past last week, I'm going into everything. And let's just say Wall Street Willie is the judge. And when I raised this to Wall Street Willie, and Wall Street Willie says, well, I mean, technically, it's nothing I can do about it because there's nothing you can do about it. It was an agreement between me and you. You cannot claim self-defense and want to be protected from your past, but you want everyone else, in this particular case, someone who you deleted, Austin and his brother, you want their past under microscope, but you don't want your past up under microscope. That's not a fair trial. That's not a fair reasoning, and that's not a fair deduction of how it is that the law works. But excuse me, y'all, for 1 second.
I know.
Wait. Hold on. Excuse me, y'all. Hey, baby.
Hey, lovey, how you doing?
What's
All
going
right, come
on?
on, man.
Now wait, real
Hold on,
quick.
real quick, Wall
Stay
Street.
right
Hold
there
on,
where you
hold
just
on,
were.
Wall
Hold
Street.
on,
Hold
real
on.
quick.
No,
It was
come
my
on,
turn
Wall
now.
Street. I let him get that off real quick.
I
Give
thought
a
it was my
second.
turn.
Yeah,
Now.
It is. Hold on, real quick.
we gonna talk
Hold on, real
after
quick. Sel, see, that's why I should have stopped you. Hold on, real quick. I'm trying to do the bedroom voice. Hey, yo, listen. This is the problem, though, Sel. The problem is you're framing it wrong. The frame is wrong. It was the prosecution that came to the defense way early before the trial even began and was pleading with them to take the clean trial. The defense had already had a whole different defensive strategy, but the prosecution had came to them with this, and they was dumb as hell to follow it. Go ahead.
But that's my point. That's my really quick. That's my point. I'm the prosecution. You're the defense. I'm saying I don't mind you putting John Galt on the stand. Just don't bring up nothing that day.
Nah,
Hold
nah.
on,
That's
wait,
not
wait, hold on, wait. Just listen.
Unethical.
The frame
It
is
was
Listen.
unethical what the prosecution did.
facts. That's
How is it? Okay, so wait,
The
stop. You
prosecution
said
presented a gentleman's
wait,
agreement.
stop.
Hold on. You've been going for a while long.
Wait, hold on. Wall Street.
The
I said
prosecution
Wall
presented
Street.
a
Wall
gentleman's
Street.
agreement
Wall
that
Street.
they
Wall
didn't live
Street.
up
Wall
to.
Street. Wall Street.
Goddamn,
Wall
bro.
Street.
1 second,
I said I was gonna be quick.
Silent.
1 second, y'all. 1 second. 1 second.
Goofy.
Wall Street. Hold on.
What's
real quick.
goofy is I said I was gonna be quick and then Raw had it.
Hold on, real quick, because really, technically, y'all, John Galt's been waiting patiently. It's technically John Galt's turn next, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Sale a question as part of my turn. The prosecution when they put on their case, Sale,
because he agrees with him.
The little girl,
that's Tony.
The girl
Today.
that said,
Because every other day, John Galt don't like Sale.
Now him and Sal is Mike Howard and Bill Worth. They friends all of a sudden.
The other day, I ain't writing anything in chat, but anyway, the prosecution when they're presenting.
Is it a yes or no question?
Hell no, you know that.
Okay. Yeah, it's yes no. When the prosecution presented their case, could they have called that young girl who said, "I only know Karmelo for fighting"?
Staying within the agreement or breaking the agreement?
It could, if they wanted to break the agreement, they could have called her. Right?
Yes,
right? But they didn't do that. They stayed within the agreement.
Correct.
By not calling her.
Correct.
Or his principals or anybody that would have known of his discipline record if he had any.
Correct.
Right? And so that was their said, hey, we can win this case just off what happened up on the tent, the few seconds up on the tent. I think Karmelo's case needed some extraneous stuff that happened before the tent, some social, racial stuff. What do you think about that?
Well, you said yes or no. See with the bullshit.
Wait. I'll answer just by saying this. I somewhat agree with you. Go ahead, Raw.
Yes, Raw saying, and then Wall Street Willie, you got after it, Raw.
So this is the thing, like motions of limine they're not against the rules, they're not against the law, they're very much constitutional. The fact remains is that Karmelo Anthony's parents made a poor choice in defense counsel. Now, is the motion of limine and what everybody's finding out was excluded, is that going to be enough to get Karmelo Anthony an appeal? Most likely not. It's a very low chance that that will be enough for an appellate judge to overturn a conviction and grant him a new trial, right? Because they came to the table, they had a meeting of the minds. What we're doing right now is, what is it called? Monday morning quarterbacking, armchair quarterbacking. That's what's happening right now. Now, even to try to use the lawyers' poor decisions as ineffective counsel won't work, because he'll just argue that it was case strategy. So either way, they packaged Karmelo up in a nice tasty box. Like what
Baby,
my issue is this, and then I really have to go. My issue is this.
Your mic. It's a little bit of feedback, baby. Just letting you know.
Oh, thank you, babe. Let me turn down my gains. Is that better?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So when we're talking about what an appeal is, Dawn, right? What an appeal is
my drugs, queen.
Go ahead. I muted him. Go ahead, bro.
He was having backdoor conversation. Go ahead, baby.
Anyway, what an appeal is when appellate attorney drafts something based off of the court documents to say, hey,
This is a constitutional violation. Motion of limine is not a constitutional violation. Nothing that actually happened in the trial was a constitutional violation. So in order to actually hold on, because even if you guys feel that what they agreed upon it to suppress in the motion of limine was inconstitutional, just going by what I heard. I'm at work. I know some people sit here and they listen to every bits and piece. I'm gonna have to go back, look at the brief or whatever. But off of the point of motion of limine, everything that we've seen has not been constitutional violations. So first of all, your case has to be engaging enough for the appellate court to want to see it. There's a very small amount of cases that actually get approved for appeals. Then there has to be an actual violation. And what I was saying to you,
let me ask you a quick question real quick, because let me ask you a quick question. So this is the thing. I think Uda is going the same place I'm going to go. I'm going to let him go after me, right? And then Wall Street. Yo, what about the fact that when the prosecution decided to break the agreement, and all the defense asked was for more time to be able to give an adequate defense to their client, they were denied. They were denied the time to be able to give the adequate defense based on the new information that was given. What about that? What about the fact that they were rushed to make a decision? They were only given 10 minutes to make a decision, whereas that got sprung on them at the last minute. And as soon as it got sprung on them, to Mike Howard's credit, he did say, hey, wait a minute, this is not cool. This is not okay. Like, I already said this, I already said that. I put this in this brief, I put that in this brief. What about that?
Well, here's the thing. The fact that he is discussing, chamber conversations with the new counsel, that's a violation. That's enough to get him penalties in the bar.
Absolutely.
Those are sequestered private conversations for a reason. That might be a Brady violation. He should be very careful if, in fact, what is in that document is his sworn, attested to testimony, because they could just be putting 20 on 10. You can file a motion on a ham sandwich, and then everybody has to be deposed.
Yep.
But look now.
In other words, hold on,
Sal.
This is what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, so it's not just those factors. There's just other factors that's coming in. But from the very beginning of this document, they go into the first factors, right? Which are the change of the no vent, no overflow rooms, the different things that they did with that. Based on the factors that each side got 15 seats for each of their guests and people that's coming with them. Karmelo Anthony's side only got 8 seats. Even his own grandfather and his own aunt was not able to make it in the trial as well. In the cases that they cite in, which is Stricker and Lilly and other cases that they're citing, right? Besides the 4 Waller factors being broken, that's a whole nother thing, right? Then we got the just.
Wait, what are the 4 Waller?
I'm bringing up to you right now the 4 Waller factors right now. Look,
what are the 4 Waller factors? If you
pull up
don't
the 4 Waller, let me just ask ChatGPT. What are the 4? Give me the 4 Waller factors real quick so I can make my argument. Right. So cool. Let's go into the 4 Waller factors too as well, real quick. Right.
Thank you, man. So because people don't know, because I don't know.
All right, cool. 1, an overriding interest is likely to be prejudiced if the courtroom remains open. They didn't prescribe that for real. Now, 2nd, the closure must be no broader than necessary to protect that interest. 3, the trial court must consider reasonable alternatives to closing the courtroom. How they locked it off, made no overflow rooms, no audio, no live streams, no video feeds, all of these different things that they did. And 4, the court must make adequate findings on the record to support that closure. Judge Roach never said a reason, but after the trial was over, he went thanking the judges for, being patient with him, because he just pulled the overflow rooms randomly, right? And never gave a reason. Nobody ever got a reason, but you have to put these things on the record. So things in that fact was broken as well, as far as overflow rooms. If Izzy, the screen share this real quick. So we read a couple of these, this one thing that's in the document, early in the document. The screen share this real quick. So
I got you. Talking about this right here?
Yeah, this right here now. So boom, right? So now this is some of the things that they're talking about. In other cases, what happened? So Waller v. Georgia, that's the case that they signed. Waller, the Waller factors, right? They said they said overflow room or live remote feed available. In the Waller v. Georgia, they said no. The entire suppression hearing was closed with no alternative offered. The outcome, the closure was unjustified and a new suppression hearing was ordered. In the Stedman versus the state, as far as the overflow room or live remote feed available, they said no. The family was barred from voir dire, which is the beginning of the jury selection, for lack of room, and alternatives was not considered. So they didn't give nobody alternative in this case. So look what happened. The outcome: structural error, the conviction reversed, and a new trial was ordered. Now in Lilly versus the state, no, there was no overflow, no live feed. The trial conducted in a restricted access setting. What was happening? The outcome: structural error, new trial. In Presley versus Georgia, no overflow room, no live feed, no audio access. They reserved rows and overflow was not considered. Reverse the trial, and the court must consider reasonable alternatives. Now, in this case, now see what happened here. In William versus the state, they did have a live feed that was to a neighboring courtroom. It was a trivial closure, but it was no violation because they did have the live feed, even though it was some complications of how they did it. In Zorns versus Bolin, yes, they did it, but they had it from a remote viewing from an observation room. What was the outcome of this? A trivial closure and no violation. In this case, they provided the jury in voir dire. They provided an overflow room during the jury selection. Okay, so if it was never none, then you could have said it was never none. But they provided it from the beginning, then withdrawn it for the testimony with no feed thereafter, and never came up with no alternatives. So the outcome should be it falls on the Waller and the Stedman and the Lilly side of that line, which is this case, and this case, which in all of those cases where these things happen, it was a structural error in a new trial. It was a structural error in a new trial, and the closure was unjustified, and the new suppression hearing was filed. So based on some of those factors and other factors that we could go through, that's compiling and compounding factors, is a lot of reasons of why a new trial would be just.
No doubt. Uda, let me
go
ahead,
Raw.
Yeah, go ahead, Raw. Yeah, go ahead.
So here's the thing. I hear what you're saying, and those are awesome cases to affirm suppression as an issue. However, the court can apply the press enterprise test, where closure is allowed if there's an overriding interest likely to be prejudiced by openness, meaning stepping on the defendant's fair trial rights, witness safety, or privacy, which there is, because this is a case involving minor children. Courts are also allowed to suppress the press when minor children are involved, when the closure is no broader than necessary, which is why the judge did allow some press to come in during the actual case, when the courts consider reasonable alternatives to full closures, and if the court makes specific findings on record to support the closure. So when we're talking about the deletion of a minor and the suspect also being a minor, that is enough to substantiate.
Well, I thought Austin was 18.
No, he was not.
No, he was 17 at the time.
Is it 17? Is it 17 considered an adult in Texas?
No, it's not.
But the witnesses, some of the witnesses may have been minors. You see what I'm saying? So you got to sometimes protect the witnesses, but they could understand. Right. So they're even challenging that, Raw, to say, if it was like an actual thing, exploitation or something like that, they could understand that. Because even in a juvenile trial, even in a trial, right, where there's minors, all of these things are still happening. They still have the overflow room. They still have the live fees. They still have all of these things going in minor cases. So even minor witnesses is still not of a justification enough to pull these things from the trial and from the people as well. You see what I'm saying?
No,
because
that's
they're arguing that in this document too.
Right. That's the wrong application of the law. The reality is that is enough, and that is the only exclusions, which means when press is excluded, there is case law to justify that. And what we're talking about when we talk about appellate court judges is the judges are going to have to overrule Judge Roach's decision. And the appellate judges usually do not overrule a judge's call. They may not agree with it. They may have made a different call, but they don't very often overrule the calls that he made. Just like people keep talking about Batson v. Kentucky, which I don't think they really understand the case origin in and of itself.
The point of the Batson v. Kentucky is to ensure that jurors are not being excluded based on race. Judge Roach also made the prosecutor qualify why he was excluding those jurors, and he gave them good enough reason. He showed cause. That's why it proceeded through. And I get that everybody wants this young man to have a different trial, and I do have to put this on the record. He could get a new trial, and when he gets a new trial, he could also get 99 years. This is an eventuality. This is not people like celebrating that. This is the reality of the situation.
Right, but this hold on.
Can I ask her a question before she leaves?
No,
I want to ask her a long question before she leaves.
Hold on, real quick. Wall Street Willie, are you there, bro? Oh, she gotta go. She had to go. Willie, are you there? All right, but give me 1 quick second. Let me just say this. Let me read this. Almanaz said, y'all, if y'all want your comments highlighted in red beyond me, welcome y'all into the show, because there's a lot of people. We got a lot of people up here with strong opinions and good information. Make sure y'all do so through the super chat or through the Cash App. I'm gonna try to get to y'all real fast just to say what's up. But everybody, I love y'all. But I'm not going to read your comments unless they're in the super chat or the Cash App, unless you're first coming in. Almanaz78 said, so what happens if he gets a new trial and he is found guilty again? As long as it's a fair trial, I'm good with it. That's me personally. I think, Uda, what about you?
Yeah, just let him get a fair trial. Whatever happens, happens. The outcome is going to be the outcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is what it is, bro.
It is what it is. Well, as long as it's a fair trial, I'm good with it. What's up, my man? KP for KC5 said he's cooked, but he was cooked from the jump. Yeah, it seemed that way. Alpha Omega said, there's lots of other ways to get him out early. Okay,
not legally.
I don't know about that. Easy one. Hold on real quick, Willie, because when I was called you wasn't even saying that. Easy one, what's up, Easy? What's going on, man? A Big Kahuna one, what's up, man? Says, sorry, John. They will bring you up your past. Yes, they will. They absolutely will. Money Bando in the building. What's up, Money Bando? All feelings aside, Karmelo gonna get a new trial. I hope he does. And I'm not tied to an outcome as long as it's a fair trial. As long as he gets a fair shake and he's able to present his case, that's all I care about. Shout out to Empress Carmen. Good to see my sis, Empress Carmen, in the building. Go ahead, real quick, Uda.
Share the screen, real quick. Share the screen, because I'm dealing with facts and paperwork, bro. I'm not just talking out my head like John Go over here. You next, though, John Go. Just chill, right?
Well, Wall Street Willie is next, and then John Go.
Oh, right. They said the rationale fails on its own terms in any event. The Supreme Court has squarely held, even in a compelling interest in protecting minor victims of sexual offenses, a more sensitive concern than the mere presence of minor witnesses. Does not justify a rule of mandatory closure. Protection of a minor must instead rest on a case-by-case determination supported by particularized findings that the exclusion is necessary as to a specific witness. Now, a generalized concern for minor witnesses could therefore support at most a narrow measure addressed to particular testimony, but not a fixed seating cap. The elimination of an overflow room and the denial of any live stream across the entire trial. Texas laws confirm the point that even in juvenile proceedings in which a child stands accused and faces adjudication of delinquent conduct, the court shall open hearing to the public unless the court, for good cause shown, determines that the public should be excluded. But there was no big beef that happened outside the courts. It was There wasn't no fights or nothing that's real serious that happened outside the court, though.
Hold on, wait, Uda, wait. Let me jump in for just a second. I appreciate good behavior. I appreciate everything you just read, and it all holds up until there was a TikTok stream and an Instagram live stream where a young woman was reading the names of minors and threatening them because they did not stand for Karmelo. And I played that live stream and I played that clip from TikTok where they were naming the kids by race, by age, by name, by identity. They was identifying them and they said, y'all go hunt them down because this is what we got to go do for Karmelo. So you tell me, Uda.
During the trial?
Oh, no,
during? I just want to know during.
Yes.
Guys, say your thing.
So you let me know. If the judge says, I want to protect these minors at all costs, and you have people outside of the courtroom threatening these minors just because they don't agree with Karmelo, is that not reason to protect their identity?
Okay, let me answer you. I would say yes. You have to protect.
Then what are we raising?
Wait, hold on. Let him finish.
I said I agree with you that you have to protect minors and children and stuff like that. I agree with that fact. But listen, what I'm saying though, the point is this: only from jury selection did he have an overflow room right before the trial started. So that happened after this. There was no overflow. There was no feed by the time that thing happened that you're talking about. From the jury selection was the only thing, which was a couple of days, if not a day or two, right? After that, they pulled the live feed. They pulled all of the other. They had all of the restrictions. So all of the restrictions came right before the testimony phase, right before the opening statement phase, and right before all of those things. So he did this actually prematurely, and not when that thing happened, is what I'm telling you.
Right, but here's the problem: the woman on TikTok specifically, and the woman from Instagram.
Yeah.
Guess who was in the room during jury selection?
Who's that?
The same women that went live and said, I'm going to tell y'all their name and I'm going to tell y'all what they look like. And we're going to dox them. And we're going to find out where their parents at. And we're going to go and harass them. We're going to go. We need to get back at them for not standing with Karmelo. These is the same people. And I don't want to mention their name because I don't, want to put people's names out there on AZ's Live.
Thank you.
This is what happened. And you know what the problem was? This was 2 days after the witness testimony started. Yeah, I played the clip, Reese Cup, even though you get on my nerves. But yes, I played the clip where the young woman was going by name. This person is this age. They look like this. I need y'all to go look them up. This person is this age. This is their name. I need y'all to go look them up. Hey, it was another girl on the Instagram live stream, not just reading off their names, but she went and doxed them and pulled up where their parents worked at. This is how crazy this is.
Yeah, give me 1 second. That's crazy. Shout out to Freedom. Freedom said, two separate cases. Not similar at all. Palomino Ricky Z. What's up, Palomino Ricky Z? Palomino Ricky Z said Karmelo would have
red rum. It's another way to say the M word.
Oh, okay. Hold on real quick. Red rum on the stand real quick. I got you. Give me 1 second. I apologize. Anton said, batshit crazy community, self-inflicted doom. Do you ever actually hear yourselves? Yo, shout out to It's All Good. Good to see you. Said, what up, fellas? What's up, man? Good to see you. Ashe said they could have brought in the kids' statements that they made to the police that day. Yeah, that's one of the things that could have brought up. Likes are free. Make sure y'all hit the like button. If y'all want your comments highlighted in red, y'all got to do so through the Super Chat or the Cash App. I'm not going to read them other than to welcome y'all in the building. White Flag Victim says, Sell on the Doctors is a good show. What's good, Bands? What's good, White Flag Victim? Good to see you. And shout out to Reese in the building. What's up, Reese? Good to see you. All right, go ahead. Wall Street Willie, are you there, bro? You got to speak fast.
I got like 10 minutes.
Okay, damn. You got to speak fast. All right, go ahead, John, go, because Wall Street ain't Wall Street. Go ahead, Wall Street. Okay, go ahead. What say you, Wall Street? And then,
it's just encouraging. It seems like a solid team. When we look at how the initial case was argued, it's a good thing to see the possibility of a very strong difference in the outcome, right? Like when you look at certain specific things, even like Uda was bringing up about his right to a publicized trial, that was even violated. So now we kind of see these dots start coming together, and I do think it'll work in his favor better than the current scenario. So it's encouraging.
No doubt. Go ahead, John. Go. What say you, bro?
I think it's kind of sad, honestly, to hear the black people putting so much faith in the appeals process. The best shot is when you're still considered not guilty. Once you get into the appeals, the chance of the odds are very, very slim, very, very slim. More than likely, he had a pretty much fair trial. What goes unsaid, though, is that it all could have turned out a whole lot differently if they hadn't led with race in the beginning, hiring Ben Crump or Dominique Alexander, all those people, without showing some kind of a tone of reconciliation to the family. I think that's what really doomed the boy pre-trial, before the trial even got started. And I think that's what the black people really should look at. The same thing with this Noah boy, Nolan, whatever the boy down there in Mississippi. They immediately jump into race. They immediately jump into race without any proof that there's race involved. And
they didn't jump to race though.
But
Once
you bring in Ben Crump, you're signaling that it's race.
It's not. No, that's not true. I keep trying to tell you.
Once you bring in the Dominique Alexanders, you're signaling that it's race.
Listen,
Carmelo's family brought in Dominique Alexander. Ben Crump is a race.
Listen, it's not. Hold on. Listen. You keep. Hold on. You keep espousing that, right? But just because you keep espousing that does not make it true. I showed you that Ben Crump happens to have some high-profile cases that include race, but Ben Crump is a mass tort attorney, a civil attorney. So because he has worked on some high-profile cases and got some pretty big returns as far as race or whatever, that's not all that he does. So we gotta keep it pushing on that. So Nolan Xavier Wells, God rest his soul, lost his life. So just like y'all sat there and y'all were completely crying and sad and in mourning that Austin Metcalf lost his life, where's the same energy for Nolan Wells, who's a young, good young man by all accounts that lost his life? Where's y'all same compassion and same empathy and same, he lost his life, man. So let's keep it. Let's keep it.
Have you read what the reports is coming out about Nolan Wells?
Which
I'm trying to keep it brief because I got to go in like 6 minutes. So they reporting that his death was not can I say the H word, H aside? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. They saying that his death wasn't ruled as homicidal.
They didn't.
What did they say it was, Sil?
Wait, hold on. They haven't declared it definitively yet.
But the autopsy is over by now, right?
No, but they haven't declared it yet. They haven't posted his autopsy.
What did they?
Hold on.
If y'all ain't gonna do a real research on that.
Go ahead, Sal.
So really quick, I haven't, because I was gonna do a video about it, but y'all know how I am. I hold a very key, strict bias when it comes to cases. Period. I always tell everybody, wait until more evidence comes out. Like I told everybody about this Karmelo case, wait until more evidence come out, or just wait until the trial starts. When we start drawing distinctions and making up narratives and conclusions, then we start adding things that don't need to be there. Which, John, I appreciate what you said, but at the same time, if we don't make this about race, we don't have to make other arguments. You see what I'm saying? If we could just stick to the law. Right. And even in the Nolan Wells case, I haven't seen any reports that there was any foul play whatsoever.
Yeah, they haven't completed their investigation yet, though.
That's why I'm not speaking. I seen you tag me in the stream yesterday, but I apologize, bro. I'm in two classes.
No, it's good. It's good. My thing for y'all was about that. You, Anton, this Nigma down here, John Galt, and Angerman was, I have, y'all know me. I'm gonna say what I believe, right?
Yeah.
The issue that I have with a lot of y'all stances is it seems to be a disparity between, like I was just saying, the amount of remorse, empathy, and compassion that y'all have for this white young man that lost his life versus this other young man that lost his life as well. And so I'm just saying, where is the compassion, the empathy, the cry out for, damn, man, I'm sorry that this kid lost his life. This is a senseless thing. I hate that this happened, whatever the case may be. That's my thing. Go ahead, sir.
So my thing is, just like with the Karmelo Anthony case, I never wanted to give an opinion, and I was hoping that people will be adults about the situation and don't give opinions on it. But then I got to remember, we're content creators. To create content, we're going to give our opinion about it, right?
We have to almost, right?
Yeah, but my stance on the Karmelo thing from the beginning was, and this is, I'm not going to say this is how it started, but this is how it started for me. When I gave my opinion last year, when this first happened, everybody was like, oh, I know Sale about to cook. I said, no, actually, I'm about to wait. I'm waiting for all this to happen. And then there was you just want to defend the white boy. You don't want to, you want to condemn the black boy. That's why you don't want to say nothing. It's like, okay, so if you want my opinion right now on what I currently have and what I currently know, this is my opinion. And when I gave my opinion, that's where all of this extra stuff came from. But then everybody was crying about the video. But then they get the video, and now the video is not good enough. Then you get the trial, and the trial is not good enough. Then you get this and this. When will enough ever be good enough? So as far as Nolan Wells goes, I don't like the fact that the boy lost his life. I do have sympathy for him because he lost his life. But there needs to be more investigation into it. Just like with this whole thing about Karmelo. I would have actually been quiet about Karmelo had everybody not been charging me up and saying that I hate my own race because I'm looking at the letter of the law. But then when people say that, oh, well, you just don't like yourself. Oh, okay, well then let me tell you how I really feel, right? Because now if you're going to position me to be a contrarian, I'm going to be a contrarian, but I'm going to tell the truth. And like I said, look in the private chat. I've been new. I was just waiting because I'm not trying to draw a narrative. You see what I'm saying? That's why I didn't want to say nothing. That's why when everybody was coming to me, I was like,
yeah, you mind if I ask you a question, bro?
As long as it's not about what I just put in the back chat.
Oh, I didn't even see what you put in the back chat. You know, we kind of on the same wavelength on a lot of these cases, and it must pain you to see your brothers and sisters looking at these cases totally wrong. It must hurt. It has to. You want to see your brothers on the right side of these things.
We're not on the wrong side of it.
Well, hold on, wait. Let me answer because I gotta go.
Right. Why you always gotta
hold on, wait. Let me answer. I gotta go.
Everything is a tug of war with you.
It's not that it pains me to see people not understand the law, because I can guarantee you this. I'm gonna say this and I gotta go. Most people who practice law don't understand the law, and that's just the honest to God truth. Because the law is to be interpreted and applied to how it is based upon how it is that you perceive it. But when it comes down to the majority of common folk who don't practice law, we're all going to have our interpretations on what we think the law is. It's just that we hope that when both people walk out of that courtroom, and us as the public, we hope that there was some type of justice served. You're never going to be comfortable about what happened. But I appreciate y'all. I got to get to my other class, man. I'll holler at y'all. Sorry.
Appreciate you coming through. Salute. Hey, listen, y'all, if y'all want your comments highlighted red, do so through the super chat, through the Cash App. I support the show. Yo, Willie, did you have something that you wanted to add, bro? Because I think you was trying to add, and I kind of let Cell rock. Did you want to add anything, Willie?
No, I kind of went past what I wanted to respond to, but yeah, man, I just hear a bunch of stuff that's not valid. You get what I'm saying? Like, people definitely do have agendas, initiatives, and the things they say. And like, even when I'm looking at this case, I don't understand how you look at this case and clearly don't see that there was, just on the prosecutor's end, right? There were, what is it called? Their moral responsibility, ethics.
Yeah.
There were ethical issues on letting this whole trial play out under the assumption of this gentleman's agreement, and then flipping it at the end and saying, I'm going to destroy this kid on the stand. It's literally so clear to me that I just kind of come to the conclusion I am in the Twilight Zone, feeling like I got to prove that to someone. So it just kind of is what it is, and we'll see what'll happen. But it looks like a strong team from what they came with from the gate. At least they came through the door firing. So, I'm hopeful for the young man.
Me too. Hey, John, go ahead. What you say you? And then we're gonna go to Uda, and I'm gonna let Uda rock after this, and then we're gonna go back
to
this.
He want to talk to us? He only spoke to Sal the whole damn time and wanted to ask.
Let John go.
Let John rock. Again, it's wishful thinking. I went through the profile of those lawyers that are on his appeal team. I wouldn't choose him, honestly, not for a case of this gravity. I would want someone more aligned with criminal appeals type law. I've chosen a lawyer before, and I think it's very important the lawyer that you choose. And if you choose lawyers like that, and I'm not discrediting them in general, but this doesn't seem to be their wheelhouse. They're not like the leaders in terms of cutting edge in this field. And so I question their judgment again. It seems that they're leaning still again into race, like to have that many black attorneys on your appeal, to have Ben Crump as your spokesman. He's not the best speaker. I don't know. I just question some of the judgment there.
Ben Crump ain't got nothing to do with this, bro.
I thought he's the spokesman for the appeal team. That's what I read. He's a spokesman. I could be wrong, but I
He
thought I
has
read that he's a spokesman.
No, man.
absolutely nothing to do
Brooke
with the
Cluse,
appeal
who's
team.
He's not.
the new attorneys. She works out of Crump's
Firm.
Okay, so that means
firm. That's
okay.
one thing. If you want to
Right.
go somewhere, she's a civil rights attorney, so we could go there. But
Right.
Ben Crump ain't not got nothing to do with this. You know what I'm saying? It's not Ben Crump's deal. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm reading it right here. Ben Crump and his legal team have joined the defense of 19-year-old Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah,
Crump's
but
team
Brooke
filed
Cluse-
an appeal and a motion for a new trial, citing potential legal errors and bias from the presiding judge.
Yeah.
Attorneys for Carmelo Anthony appeal his murder. Again, this is another article, and where it's referencing Ben Crump. Even Izzy is
It's his firm, because it's his firm. But we haven't heard Brent Crump
It's saying an attorney from his
again.
firm.
I just repeat it again. If you want to say it's his firm, okay.
It's his firm.
He's not known for
female,
criminal appeals cases. I didn't know him for that. I first became familiar with him with Trayvon Martin. So he's not the lawyer that I would have chosen. Yeah, that's just me. So I question their judgment. That's all.
Oh, we know that.
That's one of six. You guys, one of six attorneys. They got 6 new attorneys that's on this case. Okay?
But many of them are black. Many of them are like civil rights type attorneys. There's nothing wrong with them being black.
But if it's civil rights, if it's civil rights was violated, right? If it's civil rights was violated,
I don't think his appeal is. I don't think his appeal is going to hinge on civil rights.
But his civil rights was violated. But that's what you think. But I think again, you're not an expert in the field.
The civil rights violation part could have come in on the whole jury thing, but I think they've covered their bases with that. I don't think he needs a civil rights attorney. I think he needs someone steeped in the technical appeals process. That's what I would have done. Someone who had been battling it out in the appeals court for murder cases.
But Delisha, hey, shout out to Roller Skater Texas Girl. Said Ben, shout out to Roller Skater Texas Girl. Said Ben is also representing the kid. That was right. That's who I said Ben Crump was representing. Because hold on, John. That's who I said Ben Crump was representing, because that's who Ben Crump is representing. He's representing the young man Nolan Wells, may God rest his soul. His family. He's doing it in an investigation capacity at this point in time. Hasn't presented any lawsuit that I know about or any kind of suit whatsoever. He's just there and making sure that the examination and the questioning or whatever is done properly. That's what I understand. Lemmy said is still on that Bullhouse smoothie. LOL, that shit smacking. Shout out to you. This is actually it's actually my IV flash, but I left it in the freezer too long. Hey, y'all support the show though, man. Everybody throw $5 at me. Support the show. Help us keep our show going. Ashe, what's up, Ashe 2X? Ashe said you had said something earlier that I wanted to get to. Ashe, you had said something good earlier that I think I missed. What'd you say, Ashe? But anyway, shout out to you, Ashe. I apologize if I missed you. I wasn't trying to dish you. You had said something, and they made me lose my place where you was at. But Ashe, you had said something earlier. I can't remember, but it was pretty good. But hey, y'all make sure y'all supporting the show in the meantime, between time. Go ahead, Uda, and then I'm going to go to this one. Go ahead.
This is what I'm trying to tell him as well. So it's not just black people. He got also white attorneys in the 6. He got 6 new attorneys. Okay, besides Gary Bledsoe, who was an NAACP president, besides Brooke Cluse, who is a civil rights attorney, besides the top attorney lawyer, who's Russell Wilson II, they even have this guy here. Let me show you him right now. I'll show you that. So they got a mixture of people, bro. So it's not just share that screen right there for me. This guy right here, he's on the team too. This guy right here, Sean Deradia, he's on the team too. So they got other people that's as well. This guy on the right-hand side. You know what I'm saying? He's a part of the case too, as well as another guy that's on the case too as well. So they done put together a different kind of team. So it's not just a black person on a black team. They got 3 or 4 black people, but they also have other lawyers that's representing them now as well.
What role would Ben Crump's team play, in your opinion?
It's not his team, it's his firm. It's Brooke Cluse.
With his firm. His firm team.
I've been in contact with a couple of the lawyers. That's the new lawyers too as well. But Brooke Cluse, she works for his firm. She's a civil rights attorney.
So what role would she play?
She's a part of it.
What role do you think she'll play?
I don't know. We're waiting to figure out what she's going
to play.
What's her specialty?
What's her specialty?
We could go into what's her specialty.
I'm asking you. Like that. Yeah, that's how I'm asking you. Do you know?
I'll try to figure it out for you real quick. Hold on.
Okay, so you don't know. You just
He don't know real quick. So let's play this.
I didn't know if he knew or not. That's
Civil
all.
rights attorney, bro.
Civil rights. Okay, gotcha. You got,
So
okay, I didn't know. I didn't know if that was
her.
her specialty. I didn't know if that was her specialty. My bad.
Yes, I'm gonna see what her specialty is, but I know for a fact.
You said civil rights. Civil rights. So that's her specialty. Yeah.
All right. So let's get into this real quick. Let's get back. Shout out to Uda, did a fantastic job with this earlier. Let's get back to this.
Likelihood of Mr. Anthony testifying. I told the judge that we would need to confer with Mr. Anthony about his Fifth Amendment decisions regarding testifying, but I was 99% sure that he would in fact testify. After the break, back in the court before the jury. Hold up. After the break, back in court before the jury to give blank name start with an M. We can see it right here. This person's name start with an M. They ain't white it out enough. Thank you, Jesus. I wish I left 2 more letters. Let's see who this shook guy was. No scary ass. Anyway, more time to arrive at court. We then called the Frisco Police Department Detective Riley to testify. After Detective Riley finished testifying, I then decided not to call Scary Mary as a witness. And we broke for lunch early around 11:17 a.m. and the prosecution and the defense team stayed behind to talk to the judge outside the jury's presence. On the way back to the chambers, Mr. Worski mentioned to Mr. Shook that from his perspective, I had already opened the door to character, reputation, and extraneous evidence pertaining to Mr. Anthony by saying that Mr. Anthony was a member of the chess club. During my opening statement, I did not say anything about a chess club at any time during my opening, and I said that Mr. Anthony played chess during my background description of him and his hobbies. Mr. Worski also stated from his perspective that the agreement didn't cover a testifying defendant. He's a prosecutor. He knows that you're supposed to testify in your self-defense case. So why would he not intend for him or not expect for him to call his own witness? And they mentioned it in the judge's chambers. They've been talking about it for how many months now?
So yeah, that's the slimy. So that's the slimy work, right? That's the slimy work right there. That's the slimy, sleazy, slimy work. Oh, well, I didn't know that you was planning on calling Karmelo up. That doesn't include that. Wait a minute. So I can't talk about nothing that Austin and Hunter did and how they moved. And then you telling me at the last minute? Yeah, so that's that slimy work. Go ahead. What do y'all have to say about that? Go ahead, John.
Slimy. That's all I can say.
I mean, ultimately, shit, it is what it is. He was convicted. I don't think he had a case either way it goes. I think, as I said, the prosecution were willing to just go with what happened up on that tent. They felt like they had enough right there. All the witnesses that on the prosecution side were right there up on that tent for the most part, the eyewitnesses. Karmelo had nothing. You got to come to grips with that. A new trial can only probably serve him worse because, again, what's going to be introduced new in the trial? Is he going to testify? And
yeah.
This is what I was going to say to you. Since you had Raw G up here, and
that's a benefit.
She seemed very knowledgeable of the law. You should have, say, Raw G and Uda play the role of prosecutor defendants, the prosecutor and defense attorney.
Why you like cosplayers?
Hold on. Let me finish. And just pick a random person. It could be you, for instance, Izzy. You play Karmelo, and let's see if you can stand up to the question of Raw G and as the prosecutor, and see what your audience would decide on your testimony. Because we all know the case well enough now to be able to answer a lot of the questions for Karmelo, because he didn't answer them himself. So we should role play it. And you would see, well, I'm telling you, you would see how terrible his case was if you'd role play it and you put him on the stand.
That's not accurate, though.
Okay. We'll prove it out. All you got to do is let Uda be the defense attorney. Make me the prosecutor. I ain't even a lawyer. But I know enough about law to know that there's some questions that boy, if he had been on the stand and had to answer those questions, he might have gotten 50
I'll volunteer.
No, we're not doing that. Nah, we're not doing that.
But Uda and I, we could do it. He'd be the defense attorney. He'd be my
No, we're not doing that over
I
here.
challenge you one day. Come on my panel and let's do it.
Yeah, if y'all want to do that.
If you want to do it one day, you be the defense attorney. You can be Mike Howard, or you can be Uda, and I'll be the prosecutor. And we'll bring up some random black people, pro Karmelo, and we're going to walk them through what it would be like if Karmelo was on the stand.
But that's stupid though.
It's
But
not
the thing,
stupid because
hold on. It is because again, you're not Karmelo. You don't know what Karmelo did. You don't know what Karmelo thinks. You don't know how Karmelo feels. You don't know exactly what was going through Carmelo's head at the time of the incident. So that's not really helpful. What's going on, Ebony Bannon? Good to see you, sis. Good to see you. Ebony is in the building. Good to see you. Ebony Brown. Yeah, it's not, it doesn't even make
but
sense.
there has to be an explanation for why he brought the knife. So
Yo, he would have said that, but this is the thing. It's not, hold on, but this is the thing. It's not a slam dunk because obviously if it was a slam dunk and they thought that they could just leave it to what happened April 2nd, then they wouldn't be threatening to make Karmelo a hostile witness and to try to bring up his past, right? Udo, am I wrong about that?
You're right, really. You're right.
I don't know anything about the hostile witness aspect of it, so I can't really speak on that.
That's what they're talking about right now. I know what a
hostile witness is, but I don't know.
No, but this is what they're talking about right now. Bringing up Karmelo's past with the right here from this affidavit. What the prosecution is saying is they didn't think that the defense would have called Karmelo up, and so the arrangement that they made only covered the other witnesses. It didn't cover Karmelo because they didn't know. And plus, or allegedly, Mike Howard already broached their arrangement. So basically, he's making all kinds of false claims and slimy moves to be able to get out of not bringing up Karmelo's past, even though they didn't bring up Austin's or Hunter's past. That's the thing. So it's not what you say that it is, obviously, because if it was, he wouldn't have to pull that underhanded tactic.
Again, as I said to you, Austin's past is not relevant.
It's absolutely relevant.
It's absolutely relevant.
It's absolutely relevant.
Because again,
it sets the scene of how
here's how I prove to you it's not relevant.
Go ahead.
At the beginning of this trial, at some point, Karmelo Anthony's lawyer said, I don't need to defend Karmelo Anthony by using the Metcalf's past. I don't need that. I'll make a gentlemanly agreement with the prosecutor and say, I'll leave the Metcalfs out of it. I can defend Karmelo. I can defend. So now maybe he was wrong, but at least
you got that wrong. Hold on, you got that wrong.
He not signing the gentleman's agreement.
The prosecution came up with that whole concocted play, and they were the ones that presented that to the defense because they knew that hold on, time out. They knew that if they talked about Austin Metcalf's past and how Austin Metcalf really got down, they knew that Karmelo Anthony would get off and that he would be found not guilty of deletion. They knew that. That's why they did that.
So why would his defense agree to the deal?
Because he's in on the play, apparently, allegedly. Or
you think this was all a play?
Absolutely, without question.
All right. He's
a lawyer. They go to school for this thing. I can't just see he's just an imbecile.
So you think they basically just sacrificed Karmelo?
Shit.
Of course, bro. Look what he also did. Look how the prosecution also played him. Look how the prosecution also played him, John. The prosecution, when he came back talking about, you gonna open the door, it led the defense to go over their whole trial strategy with the prosecutor of what they was going to talk to Karmelo about line by line while he's standing over his shoulder, reading what you about to do. How do you give your person your defensive strategy? You don't do that in nothing. You don't even do that in lovemaking, bro. Come on, bro.
So again, I'm asking you, and I think you're going to answer the same.
Give me a Shadow wave in the back so I know it's you, bro.
So you think this was basically some big play to ensnare Karmelo Anthony?
Duh.
What would be the reason? What's so special about Karmelo Anthony?
What you mean? This is the highest profile.
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Okay, so what's so special about Karmelo Anthony? Bro. This is a high profile case. He deleted a white boy accidentally. He deleted a white boy high profile case, and you know what I'm saying? It is a warning. This is the way that you prevent this from happening again. You give them football numbers so that they think about deleting a white boy in the future.
So by that logic, do you think Karmelo is innocent?
I listen again. I told you I'm not innocent. Is real subjective. I don't think he's innocent.
Would you have found him? If you were on the jury, would you have found him innocent?
Innocent is not. That's
not guilty. I'm sorry. Would you have found him not guilty?
Yeah, I'd have found him not guilty of the
That's what I'm
M1.
saying.
Of the
Okay.
M1, yeah, I'd have found him not guilty of the M1. But I probably would have, depending on the arguments, I might have been inclined to find him guilty of criminally negligent homicide, though.
Maybe you
Right.
would have.
Yeah.
How much time do you think he deserved for it?
At the max.
I mean, you would have found him not guilty, so that's no time.
At the max 7 years. But I'd have been inclined to give him probation, being this is his first offense. I would say 7 years probation, supervised probation, pay restitution, do some classes, some community service, all of that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would have had him.
And would you be okay with 7 years if the Metcalf boy was your son and Karmelo got off with no time?
May God forbid. But listen, again, hold on. May God forbid may that have no impact on my son's life. Let me say this. What I teach my son is keep your hands and your mouth.
You're not answering the question.
Hold on, I'm answering very directly. Let me answer it. I teach my son, keep your hands, keep your mouth. Don't bully people. Keep your shit to yourself. So if my son was over another kid with 3 other kids around them, and that kid were to, God forbid, delete my son, I would feel a way because that's my son and I love him, and that's my kid. At the same time, I would have to look at the totality of the situation, and I would like to think that I would understand that it probably was an accident, and that kid probably felt threatened and probably was in fear for their life.
Okay.
You mind if I answer John real quick?
Go ahead. What's going on, HC Bo One? What's good, man?
So what's up, is?
What's up, Shadow?
Buddha, Willie, John. So answer. Do I believe he's innocent? Yes, of what he was convicted of. I do not believe he was guilty of the crime that he was convicted of based on the laws of Texas. Based on the laws of Texas, he should have been charged and convicted of negligent H.
Criminal homicide, yeah. Homicide.
Because he had a viable defense for self-defense had that defense been raised. That's my specific answer. And if it was my child wouldn't be in that circumstance because I tell my child not to approach people, especially after they've threatened you with something that you do not know what the threat is. Both of my kids would leave.
Facts. They would not be over somebody. What's a lie, mama? Welcome to the show, mama. What's a lie? What's a lie, mama? Good to see you. She said that's a lie. What's a lie? What's up, HC Bo One? What's going on? Hey, y'all, support the show, man. Come on, y'all. We've been on for 4 hours and 49 minutes. Everybody throw $5 at us real quick so we can keep our show going. Working hard for y'all, man. Support the show, support the stream. Now, man, this ain't easy, and this is definitely some dope content, man. Y'all support the show, okay? Let's get back to this. So check this out. This is the affidavit again from Michael Howard, from Mike Howard. Let's get to it.
Do you see how now he's pulling the run from under Toby Shook and from under Mike Howard? They done got off their whole case clean. The prosecution got off their whole case every day clean. They wasn't pushing back on witnesses. Those statements the statements that they made from the beginning, things that they were back actually flipping in the court, changing testimony, all these things that's happening. No pushback.
Thank you, Shadow.
But now, when it's your time to go out, here goes your pushback, fool. The prosecution never thought that the defense would call Mr. Anthony to testify. Back in the judge's chamber, Mr. Worski repeated his assertion that the agreement between the prosecution and the defense never contemplated a testifying defendant. He elaborated, stating that he had never thought that we were calling Mr. Anthony as a witness.
What type of shit is that?
He also repeated his claim that I had already violated the agreement during my opening statement by saying that Mr. Anthony was a member of the chess club. It is important to note that this was the first time that Mr. Worski mentioned that he believed that I violated the agreement days earlier by mentioning. So listen now, we already in the case.
So I need y'all to understand this. Shout out to my man, shout out to Titan Was. If you got a membership from Shadow, make sure you thank him. Thank you so much, Shadow. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Y'all be like Shadow Titan Was and support the show, support the stream. If you got your membership, keep it, because membership has its privileges. If y'all want your comments highlighted in red, y'all got to do so through Super Chat or Cash App. A lot of people, a lot going on. I appreciate y'all. I'm not trying to dish y'all. It just is what it is. So now, listen, check this out. This is how diabolical this is. Y'all need to understand. The prosecution is claiming that the defense violated their agreement in the opening monologue, meaning the beginning of the case. They waited until they said that they were going to, only because they was pressed for time, because the judge was forcing them to close out on Saturday. Remember that? That's the only reason why the defense brought up that, oh, okay, well, we don't really want to bring Karmelo up because it's out of order. We're going to bring him up later. The prosecution is claiming that they didn't know that they was going to bring up Karmelo, and Karmelo is not a part of that. That's how dirty, low down, and diabolical they're being right now.
You don't understand what I'm about to say. First and foremost, what do you even mean they violated an agreement? We're in trial against each other. What agreement do we even have right now?
Exactly. That was
is there a plea agreement that was set?
No, they had hold on. Hey, Shadow, they had these nigmas, the dumbass defense attorney let the daggone prosecution trick them out of the case. They had an agreement from the beginning that they would not bring up any character situations about Austin Metcalf, Hunter Metcalf, or Karmelo Anthony. They would not talk about their past. They would not talk about their character. They would not talk about any indiscretions of the past. They will only talk about what happened on April the 2nd. This is what the defense agreed to with the prosecution.
But Izzy, man, I'm gonna get out of here shortly because I don't think I'm making much headway. But you gotta understand, you have to be able to think like asymmetrically and ask yourself, why would Karmelo Anthony's attorneys be okay with this? They were okay with it. Like they will, and as a defendant, and I've been on trial, I would be okay with that. I would totally be okay with it.
But that's not okay.
Because I don't want to be judged by what I did 6 months ago.
Okay, but why don't you? Okay, but why don't you understand that that's irrelevant when the defense agreed and they lived up to it? But when it came time for them to present the case, the daggone prosecution reneged. Why do you keep wanting to skip past that? Hold on. Let me ask the question because I want you to identify this question. Why do you keep trying to skip past that and go to something that's not even relevant? Okay, for whatever reason, they agreed. We already know that. They agreed. It's fine. They agreed. Whatever, right? I think it's stupid, but they did agree. Okay, cool. But when it came time, they kept their part of the agreement. When it came time for the prosecution to keep theirs, they reneged and they played them. Why don't you understand this? Go ahead.
Because I think, as I said earlier, and Sale agreed, when the prosecution presented their case, they did not call any witnesses that would have testified that Karmelo liked to fight in school. I got a clip, it's in your back chat, of a young girl who went to school with Karmelo, and she said, all I ever known him for was fighting. So the prosecution didn't put that case on. The prosecution limited itself. That tells you how strong they felt their case was, that they were willing to limit their own case to only what happened up under the tent. Like, most times they want to bring in as much dirt on you as possible.
Who's to even say that would be permissible?
Hold on, but what I'm saying is
just saying he fights.
Hold on, but let's don't get off come on, let's don't get off on the tangent, Wall Street Willie. The thing is this, so what? The point is when it came time for the defense to present their case, because what you're failing to realize is the defense also didn't bring up nothing about Austin Metcalf or Hunter Metcalf. The fact that they have bullied these cheerleaders, the fact that their own teammates were scared of them, the fact that they had been doing this for time and time again, the fact that they had got suspended for shit like this, the fact that daggone Austin had almost got kicked off the football team for fighting with people. all of this thing, the defense never brought up. The defense didn't even fight back about the inconsistencies and the testimony of the witnesses. So that's even. So let's make that a wash. That's even.
Okay,
Why?
so now everything's even. He's convicted. So
No,
that's
it's
not a
even.
wash.
Hold on, real quick, Shadow. I got you. That part is even, right? And Shadow says non-wash. I'm gonna let him tell me in a minute. That part is even. But when the defense went to present their case, that's when the prosecution reneged and turned their back on the agreement. So what you're saying is null and void. It's a moot point, John.
Right.
And the racist graffiti that they was throwing up could have been a lot of the reason why they was even pushing Karmelo in the first place, bruh. What kind of racist graffiti was y'all throwing out there, bruh? Damn, the brothers, they had a background with some racist graffiti. They got caught spray painting racist graffiti as well. So it's many things. So look, screenshare this real quick. Screenshare it real quick, Izzy. Real quick. You know, I'm with the documentations. I ain't with just the fluffing.
I got you. Let me read this real quick. I'm gonna pull it up. Give me real quick. Let me just celebrate Chicago Real. Thank you, Chicago Real, for the $5. Said John more than likely believes Amber Geiger was innocent and celebrates this that his milk of magnesia is home. Damn, she's already home. What's up, Ebony Brandon? Appreciate you, Ebony. Appreciate it. Yeah, she's home.
She's innocent.
Yeah, she's already home. Damn, that's fast.
Like 2.5.
That's quick.
Damn, that's fast. Hey, Ebony, thank you, Ebony. Ebony said, supporting the show. Thank you for the membership, Shadow. Thank you so much, Ebony. Appreciate you. What's up? What's up, Black Beauty? Black Beauty said, hello, Izzy and panel. Mods in chat. Shout out to Ebony Brandon and to Black Beauty Gaming. Good to see both of my sisters in the building. Much love to y'all. Thank y'all so much. My man Cole said, exactly. I thought that up earlier in the show. Ain't no agreements between the sides like that in court. No, that's a fact. And shout out again to the double up to Chicago Real. Appreciate 3.7 GPA, but all he does is fight. Get the F out of this mother F. Shout out to my man Chicago Real. Go ahead. Let me pull this up, and then Shadow, you got it after this.
Can I get Shadow done?
Real quick, John. Look, Austin's a really big guy, and he's kind of like the aggressive guy on the team. Austin got the same way he got during that altercation is the same way he got with some of us and the Mellow Kid or something or whatever. And then he just, Austin's kind of like he got triggered. Austin and Hunter, they're not going to let you disrespect them. And Austin, he's like a big guy, so nobody really wants to fight him. And Austin's really a passionate guy. And Jose told the police about Austin's history of fighting and almost getting kicked off the football team. And I've known Austin for a while. And if Austin's about to get into a fight, you can tell, okay? And Austin can be a bit aggressive sometimes, and he has a bolder mouth sometimes. So they got some of the same type, you know what I mean? They got that energy, bro. That's what I'm gonna read. Is
that testimony from the trial?
John, hold on. Can I stop you real quick?
What? No, that's
something that's factually wrong.
Hold on, real quick, Shadow. Give me a second. That's not testimony for the trial, but that is quotes from statements that they made earlier with the police. Go ahead,
so
Shadow.
That's not testimony from the trial. So
no, that's statements.
The jury never heard that.
Right, that's the point. That's the point. That's the point.
They never got a chance to hear it, John. That's the point.
Hold on, real quick. That's the point, John. The defense had that in the clip, but they never presented it because of the agreement. That's the whole point. He's showing, listen, it's not like we didn't have a preponderance of evidence. It's not like we didn't have anything to present. We did. But because we had the agreement with the prosecution and we agreed not to do this, this is why we didn't present this. But we had it right here. Go ahead, Shadow.
Can you play that little white girl saying that Karmelo?
Go ahead, Shadow. Go ahead, Shadow. Hold on. Go ahead, Shadow. Pay me to play it. Pay me to play it. Go ahead, Shadow.
I almost said it.
Pay me to play it. Go ahead, Shadow.
Since we want to talk about things people
play it for your audience. Let the truth out about that black degenerate.
Wait, since we said it, since we want to talk
the black degenerate, man.
No,
Why are you holding back?
Hold on. I gotta mute you, John. Come on. Be respectful.
Since we want to talk about things that people said, since you want to bring up the little white girl who said what she said, let me bring something else up. Because keep in mind, I live in the city. There's a boxing coach in the city who tried to teach Karmelo how to box. Do you not remember what that boxing coach said about Karmelo? No, I'll remind you real quick. Karmelo couldn't throw a punch to save his life. So just in case you're saying that he fights all the time, but the man who was trying to teach him how to fight said that the man couldn't throw a punch to save his life.
Maybe that's why he picked up a knife. He realized he couldn't fight, so he picked up a knife.
Wait a minute. So is he always fighting, or is he always picking up a knife?
Maybe he may be fighting and losing, so he said, hell with this, I'll give me a knife.
Huh.
That's a reasonable conclusion.
So you don't see the gray area in what you're saying, right?
If I love to fight and I kept losing, I just give me an equalizer.
Wait, yeah, that's what you did too, Eddie. Go ahead, Shadow.
If I love to fight.
Hold on, John. Come on. Let's be respectful. Let Shadow finish. Go ahead, Shadow, bro.
So here's the issue. You're saying that, but this little white girl said he fought. Well, there were multiple interviews that clearly stated that Karmelo tried to warn him first because he didn't want to fight.
You wanted to stab.
Preponderance of evidence? I don't know if you know what that phrase means.
He's not a good fighter, so you wanted to stab.
I don't know if you know what preponderance of evidence means, right?
You say he's not a good fighter, right? So I'm going to presume that he wants to stab instead.
So, see, I don't do a lot of arguing when it comes to facts. So I'm asking you a simple question. You should be able to understand what I'm asking. If he gave him the warning first, which I've never heard you acknowledge the fact that he gave him that warning, right?
Sure.
Okay, so you do acknowledge the fact that he tried to warn him first. Simple questions. He tried to warn him first, right?
Yeah, touch me and find out.
So when he tried to warn him, which brother said he doesn't have shit? It was who?
Was it Austin?
It was Austin. Okay. So the person he just warned not to touch him said he has nothing and disregarded the warning, right?
Right.
In Texas, at that point, Karmelo was entitled to defend himself. And keep in mind, hold up, wait a minute. Keep in mind, this was a year ago, right? I graduated in 2006.
Why is that relevant? Why are you telling me that?
Every school year since has talked about school safety and hidden weapons, right?
Okay.
So what you're saying is this dude who's been bullying people who has a history of it said, no, this is Frisco, because again, this is an area where we don't do a lot of weapons. Ignored the threat he made instead of going to the coach. You're saying he would have still been convicted of M. That's crazy.
I don't know what the hell you just said, but yeah, it wasn't a simple question. You talked for like 2 minutes. Did you have a question or you just want to make a statement?
Did he actually have reason to stab that man? Wait, sorry.
The jury said
my bad.
The jury said no. The jury
Wait a
said
minute.
no.
So if you're talking about the jury, what defense was presented to the jury to support unequatable force in Texas? And I know you don't know what that phrase is because one, you're not here, and two, it wasn't presented in court.
Facts.
Well, the boy was guilty.
Wait, hey, so you said I asked you questions. I just asked you one. So
I don't know the answer to that question. But whatever they presented to the jury, they said, hell, what are you talking about? That boy guilty. 35 years, boy.
Since you just said what you said,
boy in the big house.
I'm going to ask you again. What evidence? So just because I see you don't understand it. Yeah, unequatable force. Hold on. Unequatable force in the state of Texas automatically triggers when you are in the potential for being jumped, right? That's Texas law.
Okay.
So get this. Hold on. So if Karmelo, like all y'all keep trying to say, should have swung off on Austin, even though Hunter was the one who started the engagement, you're saying Hunter wouldn't have jumped in, right?
I don't know.
Oh, you know what would have happened?
I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Hunter would have got dead on his ass too.
Okay, that's what you say. I can't.
I'm no brother in Texas finna let his brother get whooped.
Okay, I'm not just
twins. So
but you can
with that being said,
else.
There was a reasonable opportunity. There was a reasonable expectation for him to get jumped, right?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Sure.
There's a reasonable expectation that he would have increased chances of serious bodily harm or death, right?
Yeah, if two people jump on you, yeah.
Especially having epilepsy.
Right. So with that being said, since that was not presented because of an agreement, anybody who's been in court knows there's no such thing as an agreement in trial. That's ludicrous.
Actually, it is, because I've had agreements in trial.
It's their pre-trial agreements.
You can have them all throughout your trial. Hell, if you have a pre-trial, you can have it anytime. I mean, they could have a sidebar and say, okay, we're going to forego calling this witness, blah, blah, blah. They can do that. But the bigger point is, man,
have you ever thought
it's
the
probably
best
never
thing
going to get
you
through to you
could
guys,
do for the
because
black community is
what's interesting is that, like, there's so
Yeah.
many black people that do these things like Karmelo, and so I'm really interested in why you choose this one. Don't you think there are other blacks that have been convicted for killing other blacks and deleting other blacks, and they probably are looking around at you guys showing so much interest in Karmelo? They're like,
because Karmelo was a good. Because
like, he looks more guilty than me.
The easy answer is Karmelo was a good kid that got a bad deal. That's the answer. Like, he made a bad mistake and got a bad deal.
Do you think he's the only one? Do you think he's the only one?
But he's the one that we know about. He's
Okay,
the one
but
that we know about.
well, why don't we go find some
like
more?
my man, and we know that, like my man Uda said, he got railroaded. He was a good kid.
Do you think he's the only one?
We know of him. We don't know. I don't know.
Is there anybody that we can, like, put our energy behind?
What is the
who's
point?
not known for fighting? Like,
Karmelo.
would it be better to find somebody that's not known for fighting?
Karmelo.
He's known for fighting. He's just
not
black.
No, he's not known for fighting. No, he's not known for fighting.
That's what the girl
Just because some random white girl said it doesn't make
you don't believe nobody but the people you want to believe.
No, you only believe little white girls.
I believe the
That's the problem.
I believe
You
the whole
only believe
totality
little
of
white
that
girls.
shit.
There's something
No, you
wrong
don't.
with you.
I believe the whole
Yo,
totality.
John Gold, you will be the blackest dude on any panel.
Stop focusing on me, bro. Stop focusing on me.
The black,
Bro, you are retarded. You're retarded.
Hey, come on, watch that.
Okay, you have very low IQ, Willie. Somebody should be watching you. Do you have
I know that broke your heart that I told you to but for the rest of your time on YouTube,
he said somebody should be watching you, Willie. It's
blackest
hilarious.
black
Somebody should be watching this boy.
on any
Who let you
panel
be on
you
the
go.
internet?
I know that hurts your heart.
That's hilarious.
It don't hurt my heart, boy. I've been telling you, you're low IQ for a long time. You know, I've been consistently telling you, you are low IQ.
My
I'm probably the
IQ
only
is good
person that ever
enough
told
not
you
to
that.
rent to
Like,
people
don't
that
listen to me
leave
in
piss
front of your
bottles
children,
on
boy,
my
because they're
property.
gonna realize their dad is stupid if they
The
hear you calling them
audacity of you talking about high
Don't listen to me in
IQ.
front of your children, boy.
You
You gonna
know
hear me
what your
talk to you, boy? You
IQ score
stupid.
is? Code
Anybody ever told you
45.
stupid?
The
This boy is
audacity
stupid.
of you
This boy is stupid.
to
He
insult
real stupid.
anyone's
Look at
IQ.
you, just retard.
Your
Hey,
IQ
why don't you go over to Cuba? Why don't you go over to Cuba and help build a school?
Hey, come on, man. Leave
How
Q
did
Butter
school
out.
for it?
Well, hold on. Q Butter actually got to school. What, come on, leave Q Butter out of this. Shout out to Q Butter.
Educating Negroes. Oh, boy, that's a novel.
Hey, so what? Hey, yo, he
And go
teaches.
clean
Hold
them
on.
piss
Hold
bottles
on.
out your
Is how to clean up the streets in Brooklyn
on.
where he live.
Hold on.
Silent.
Yo, what you not gonna do for real? I don't know Q Butter personally.
Shit, I go hard.
Hold on.
Silent.
What you not gonna do is disrespect a brother that's actually putting in the work. You talk about STEM all the time, and Q Butter teaches STEM in his school. You talk about engineering all the time, and Q Butter teaches engineering in his school. So the disrespect is intolerable. It's unpardonable, even with regardless of what you feel about Q Butter is actually doing the work. So leave Q Butter out of it. He's not even on this panel.
I talk about cleaning up piss all the time. Blacks need to focus more on cleaning up
Leave
piss.
King Randall out of this too, brother. What are you talking about?
I need blacks to clean up piss.
Yo,
Right?
you got the piss. You the piss cleaner. You enough piss cleaning for all of us. Thank you.
Black
You are the PP man. You are the PP man.
Shit like that. Because like, who's gonna ride on a plane flown by some dumbass low IQ rap listening to black? He had rap in his headphone flying across the country. Nobody want to fly on a plane like that. Nobody want to listen to you ghetto ass gangsters.
Quick question.
Spin that. What the hell you blacks are doing? What are you
Said-
spamming ass blacks?
All right, John. All right, John. Bring it back, John. All right, John. Bring it back, man. Bring it back. Bring it back, man.
Willie thinks he
John.
can make a lot of money and go
Look,
live
you
around
melting
like
down.
that. Boy, you have
John.
Look at the meltdown. Watch
a child.
John.
Willie's like a
Meltdown.
Hey,
child.
John.
Willie's like a 50-year-old child, right? He probably still
$20 is really easy to pay right now.
like a fucking
Yeah. Hey, hey, send me my $5 for the F-bomb, John.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Yes, you
Take your
did.
time. You just cursed, John. As I told you, take your time.
Hold on.
Willie probably.
You said F it. You got John.
You said the F, John.
Said the F bomb fee. You said F it.
Make
Come
some
on,
money.
John.
$5.
Thank you.
$5. How much to call Willie retarded?
No, come on, no, come on,
retarded?
stop saying no amount of money for that. Come on, bro, that's against violence. That's against the violation, bro.
What? It ought to be a violation to have him up here.
That's against YouTube rules, bro. You can pay to kick him off, and you can pay to kick him off.
We'll get him paying again.
Have disabled children and shit up here. This should be against
we feel the same way about you, PP man. We feel the same way about you, PP.
What y'all be talking about?
Hey, leave Q butter out of send me my product.
Man, leave Q butter out of this, bro.
Q
butter ain't here. Leave Q butter out of this.
Willie here. Willie's a Q butter representative.
No, you talk about Willie.
Willie's a Q butter representative.
Take a break, John. Take a break and send me my $5. Take a break. Take a break. Take a 15-minute break. Shout out to my man, Shadow the Tightwads. He said $20 for John. He doing too much. Thank you. Hey, this is for John. This is John. Thank you, Big Bad Kahuna, for paying for his F-bomb fee. John, you need to pay me the F-bomb fee. Thank you very much, Big Bad Kahuna. Thank you very much to my man Chicago Rilla. I appreciate the breakdown of the twos, and thank you also to Big Bad Kahuna. Let me read these real quick. Chicago Rilla said, "What was Austin's GPA?" Hey, we don't know. It wasn't no 3.7. We do know that. Who's that Nigma on that nag? This is sad. Someone got a background noise. I don't know who it is. $2 say, "Give me one of them bears, like I said, boy." Shout out to Big Bad Kahuna. Thank you for John is crazy, but he paid for the thing. And thank you, shout out to Titan Wash. Y'all be like them and support the show, support the stream. Not me. Y'all got the floor. What say y'all? Is that a picture, Uda? Or is that you? Yeah. That's a picture. Yo, if you don't get that scary picture all up.
I'm gonna make it super simple because John just likes talking. One of the things about effective assistance of counsel is your defense actually has to make an adequate defense, right? Mm-hmm. If he made an agreement with the prosecutor that chicken winged one of the defensive arguments, i.e., the reason why the altercation even happened, that is by default ineffective assistance of counsel, because he could not have provided adequate defense if he couldn't present evidence to exonerate his client. Just, I've been through it and beat it. I know how this game works.
That's a fact. So with that, like, circumvent, how does that work as far as the appeal process? Does that circumvent the appeal process, or how does that work? Is that why they're calling for the recusal of the judge in that particular case, because he was trying to rush them to trial or whatever, rush them to ill? Because really, this is what happened though, Shadow, right? The defense lawyer said, "Okay, this is messed up, but I see that there's a judge, you're saying there's nothing you could do about this. I need more time to prepare my client." The judge said no. And he said, "Judge, come on. I told you already that I have a client list. I mean, I have a testimony list, but the people I told you from the beginning, they can't come on Saturday. They could come on Monday." The judge said, "No, you got to wrap this up today." And so, and he was like, "Well, Judge, I need time to prepare my client." They said, "No, you got 10 minutes. And that's why Karmelo ended up not getting on the stand, and why they ended up going like that.
Right, but that's the problem. One of the problems we have is it was clear he wasn't preparing for his client. What lawyer doesn't prepare you for trial before trial?
Well, allegedly he was prepared based on the fact that they was not going to question him about anything beyond April the 2nd. But then the prosecution pulled the rug from under him and flipped the script and said he was.
So
at like the last minute.
But in an M case, it doesn't even make sense for the person who's the defendant, who, again, they never claimed self-defense. It was never claimed. So since self-defense was never claimed, what was the defense? That's what I'm getting at. A lot of people are quick to say, well, M is if you case somebody, it's M, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been telling people for about a month, just because all M's are K's doesn't mean that all K's are M's.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The circumstance behind it matters. The defense never put a circumstance behind it. How could the jury have decided otherwise? That's why I was trying to let John talk, but then he got irritating.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That is a pure T blood nigga fact. Let's get back to that. That's a fact.